Welcome back to Navy Sports Magazine. Time to talk Navy men's basketball. Big sophomore out of Amarillo, Texas, Evan Wieck joins us now. And right now for you guys, why is this basketball team so good away from the city of Annapolis right now?
I guess we're so good. We started to come together. Like I said last week, we had a lot of adversity to overcome, injuries, whatnot, sickness, and so like once we had a few guys drop down, that really brought the team together. Some lower guys had to step up, and now with them stepping up, we just kind of bonded together and got some wins going.
Do you guys feel that there's much of a difference between, I don't know, I mean, you saw what Bucknell had to do last night to beat Colgate, but is there that big of a difference between the teams in the Patriot League right now?
No, I'd say every team is deserving of a lot of respect, no matter from the top, no matter how high they're seated or low they're seated, what their record is. Everyone deserves a good look at good preparation before we go into them, no matter what their record is. So.
Obviously, Lafayette was a good test last time around. It's a club probably playing some of its best basketball right now as you all prepare for that game. Thoughts on what you have ahead here with Lafayette?
Yeah, Lafayette is definitely playing a lot better. They're probably in the same position we are. They're starting to play a lot better together. They won 3 of the last 4 games, I think. And so, and we're playing better. So, but Lafayette, obviously, they're really good at shooting the three-pointer. That's what we're going to have to take away tomorrow. But other than that, it's just a team you got to respect, and we're preparing for them just like any other team, any other game.
How difficult is it when you play teams like that where the big wants to step out and face up as opposed to the traditional bang with you in the post as you normally see?
See, it's really weird because last year we played him. Their big guy, number 13. Mm-hmm. His distance was 15 feet. And now he's out shooting threes now, which is something you got to take into account too, because now he can shoot threes, which you have to respect, and so you have to guard him outside the three-point line and not just sit in and pack it in, which helps the defense. So them being able to shoot threes with their big man spreads it out the defense more and opens up more for them.
Yeah, Matt Klanuski had 25 in their win over Loyola on Sunday. Do you all have a sense right now? Is there a sense of urgency in practice and in preparation, knowing that there's a chance to achieve something here right now? You guys have worked your way back into this tie for third place now with BU. Do you guys have that sense of urgency, do you think?
Yeah, Coach yesterday during practice before laid out like we only have 2 weeks left. We only have 4 conference games left, which kind of hit me pretty hard. You don't really think about it. You just take one game at a time. But looking forward, our last game is next Saturday against Loyola here. And so that kind of gives us a sense of urgency. You say, we have max, hopefully 10, 12 practices left, depending on how far we go. And hopefully, if we win the Patriot League championship, we'll get 14 practices. But he laid out for the seniors, this is their final run, So, sense of urgency is really up there right now.
Do you guys, as underclassmen, do you all feel a sense of urgency to help those seniors try to achieve?
Yeah, definitely. The seniors, they set the layout the whole season and last year, too, when they were juniors. Nothing would make me happier than to get them some wins going.
How does a guy from Amarillo, Texas, who has a very good high school career there, end up at Hargrave Military Academy at one of the top prep schools in the country?
Yeah, well, it was really Coach Nestor kind of pointed out. I was going to go to Naps, but then, I wanted to do a prep year for military because I didn't really know much about the military.
Sure.
None of my family was in the military or anything, but that place really worked out well because I could develop basketball-wise, military-wise, get the whole how to manage your time between school, basketball, and the military all at the same time. So that was a big deal for me. And Coach Nestor coached A.W. Hamilton, who's the coach there, and the assistant coach, and Coach Lepore, who's at VW or VMI now, right, with old Coach Earl, who recruited me. So it's all connections going into it, and that's how I ended up there.
Of course, A.W. Hamilton now part of Kevin Keats' staff at Hargrave. Keats, of course, was a terrific prep school coach in his own right. How much did playing that level of competition, because let's face it, you play on that prep circuit. My son did that at Massanutten. You're playing a college level type of competition against all of those prep schools. How did that help you in your development?
Definitely helped a lot. The jump from high school to prep school is probably the biggest jump that I've ever seen. Going from Hargrave to Division I, it's not as big of a jump as from high school to the prep school. But battling with guys who are high up ranked Division I athletes definitely helps no matter what. You just gotta step up your game and try to earn that playing time.
I was going to say that circuit with all those great schools in the Northeast, of course, Fishburne and Massanutten right there in your own state where you guys were competing. Derek Funderburk, who of course was on your team, ended up going to Ohio State. I imagine your practices were probably as spirited a competition as maybe some of the games that you
Really
had.
intense. You know, we had a Dariante Jenkins who's at VCU right now. We had Braxton Beverly who's at North Carolina State with Coach Hamilton right now, doing really well. You know, just a whole round of guys just really who could play ball.
You know, now that you've settled in and obviously playing a significant role on this basketball team, what's life at the Division I level been like? And as you mentioned, you talked about how instrumental Hargrave was in terms of your time management. And how much even more of a focus and refinement have you found that now in your first 2 years here?
Yeah, it's definitely a culture that I really like around here. You know, we're just like a hard knock team, playing tough. You know, Tom Lacey, I like looking after him, even though there's some technicals going and all that. But Sean, I love it. I just love like the energy, like the toughness going on here. You know, we're gonna die for every loose ball, that kind of deal. Take charges, just be the nitty gritty team.
You have just an innate ability, and it's amazing. I'll watch you get a rebound at one end, and literally within two passes, you're at the other end, and someone's throwing you a pass for a layup. Where did you get that drive and that intuition to try and beat other bigs down the floor and obviously get some easy buckets?
Definitely at Hargrave. One of the big guy I was competing against for playing time was 6'9", 310. So, you know, one of the biggest things we played with at Hargrave was a press. We were pressed the whole game. Yeah. And so being able to move quicker just kind of like resonated with me, you know. If you can move up and down the floor and beat some of those big guys up and down, and then being a smaller, like not as thick post player, like that's where you can take advantage of it.
What was it like to get that victory and see those guys hoist that Star Trophy on Saturday?
You know, it really meant a lot because, you know, the seniors, that's their last game against Army. They've been playing for them for 4 years. You know, they're 4-0 up there, and that was seeing them hoist that up and hoist it up with them was really a special moment.
For you, you know, you probably had some other choices. You're a guy of great size. People with size have choices. What was it about Navy that stuck out to you that you said, hey, I'm going to follow this path. I'm going to stay on it, and right now seems to be working out for you?
Yeah, definitely. When I came on my first visit, saw some of the guys and how they handled themselves. They all came up, you know. Saw Pookie. He's one of the first ones that I met. Tim Abruzzo was my person carrying me around. You know, they just kind of laid out like how it is here, you know, with the military and everything. Just said it straight up. You know, this guy is like for the toughest people out there, and so that's something I wanted to be a part of.
Kind of ironic that they would send the 5'7" Kevin Alter around with the big fella right here. But it's so amazing when I think of, it's a great chance to talk about Kevin Alter. When I think of Kevin Alter, I see a guy, when you see him in stature, he's 5'7", but in terms of leadership and someone that is focused and has drive, could you see that in him just from the time you talked to him here on your visit?
I was actually, the first time I met him, I was up in the stands for a shoot around, and me and my parents were sitting up kind of high, and he took the time in practice in the shoot around to come up. You know, coach was waiting and introduce us and talk to me and stuff, and I knew like from then on, like that being off the court, that good of a person, you know, will resonate on the court.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This guy would come out and shoot after every single game, put in the extra time. Final question, you know, now that, as you mentioned, ultra sharp focus here over the last 4 games, is it easy to take things each game at a time here? Do you have to fight looking down the road at what could be if you all achieve?
Yeah, so it's really hard not to look ahead, you know, overlook some teams, but our focus has to be one game at a time, or if you want to dumb it down even more, one possession at a time. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely difficult not looking forward because we all have a goal in mind that's in the back of our heads, but moving forward, you just got to take one game at a time.
All right, big fella, appreciate the visit. We'll see you tomorrow night against Lafayette.
Appreciate it.
All right, Evan Wieck joining us here. So the Mids get set to play Lafayette Wednesday night at 7. Mike here and I'll have it on the Patriot League Network.